Hello and welcome back to episode 5 of No Country for Old Pens. We're at the 2021-2022 season training camp. First, I want to apologize for the audio in the previous video. Basically, I spent the first 12 minutes or so with my microphone kind of up around my forehead in the kind of rest position and didn't realize it. So rather than go back and redo the whole thing, I went and tweaked the audio and made everything louder. So the voice sounded okay, but then all the background sound effects and stuff got really loud. So I apologize for that. At any rate, on to this episode. We pick it up at training camp. The first thing we're going to actually do is the biggest change I'm going to do this year is go to manual scouting. I don't know that I'm going to show every choice here, but I'm going to at least do some sensible things and try to keep my scouting within the top 200 or so people. So looking at my scouting, one thing I want to do first is look at the distribution of prospects. So let's do change region. In the Nordic, we have an SHL and a Liga scout. And, okay, Allsvenskan only has like 12 prospects. Liga has about 80. And SHL has about 80. So we don't, our scouts for that league are perfectly aligned. If there's one or two guys we need to check out in Allsvenskan, we can do that. Europe. 20 there, 20-ish there, 15-ish there, 15-ish there. I have one scout for Europe right now. I'm inclined to just have that guy bounce around as he needs to. North America, I'm checking the weak leagues first. Russia and Canada are obviously the places where I want to put most of my effort. So USA, okay, 6 prospects out west and 6 prospects in the east, which means all the prospects are in the central. So really, we can just put one scout on the central, and that should get most of our work done. That means we can, and just out of curiosity, let's check the distribution of CHL. And I got 120 in the WHL, or that was just forwards, actually. So we're looking at like 150 in the Western, another 150 and then almost 200 here. So we're going to need to beef up our scouting in Canada. So, and in terms of what we have 2 scouts in Russia already. We have an SHL and a Liga. Guerrero is our Europe scout, so he can just bounce around. We only need one of these guys in the USA at the moment. Can either of these guys scout Canada? That guy's an A- in the WHL, Brody Rogers. And that guy, Jalen Bomick, is an A- in the QMJHL and an A+ in the OHL. And right now, in the Canadian leagues, I've got 2 WHLs, an OHL, and a Q. So if I move Bomick to the Q, that will give me 2 A+ scouts in the Q. So now we need one more OHL scout, and that will be our 20th hire. So we will go hire an OHL scout. DeNicola? I mean, I might want to look at somebody who's got versatility in multiple sub-leagues. So that guy's got an A+ in the Q, but he's also B in both of the other 2. On the other hand, I want to keep the overall good. You know what? Let's just keep it simple. Let's get a guy who's... Okay, DeNicola is a C- overall, and he's A+ in the league we're looking for. Let's just give him an offer and get him moving. Yeah, let's advance a few days to get those scouts hired and moved to where they need to be. Okay, so Daniqua is... Alright, now let's do the assign the scouts. And what I'm going to do is for each region, I'm going to scout out to just short... I'm going to try to keep my scouting in the top 200 or so, and I'm going to scout out to about... And/or I'm going to set a checkpoint around February 1st. Where, you know, I'll see how scouting looks on February 1st and reassign scouts and maybe go after some specific guys I want more information on as of February 1st. So, and this is the part where, depending on how long it takes me to assign all these, I might just skip ahead. So if you see a swipe and all of a sudden we're done, well, that'll be why. Start with Russia. Oh, wait, no, shoot. We don't need to refine prospects. So we're scouting specific players. Shoot, I gotta get rid of all this stuff. Okay, so now we want potential in comparison. That's our big one. And keep an eye on, we're keeping an eye on the date down below, as well as also the overall pick number, that we want to try to end this either in the 220s or around February 1st is where we'll stop and take assessment. And remember, we have 2 Russia scouts, so we'll get this guy done and then pick up the other one from wherever this guy leaves off. 20th, 28th, I don't think we can fit another one in, so okay, we're stopping this guy at 132. Okay, so it turned out to be kind of boring, and in fact my dog was barking for part of it, so I decided to cut out most of the scouting stuff. I mean, you get a general idea of what the MO is. Every once in a while you don't get a nice clean finish at February 1st, so in that case sometimes I just let the scout do what he wants. Other cases maybe I'll go, there was one that like ended in December, so maybe at that point I'll go move him to a different region or something and help out somewhere else. You know, so it's not a perfect fit, but it's a good start. I wanted to give a disclaimer. I did actually pick that technique up from some other YouTuber. Unfortunately, I don't remember the person. I wish I could give proper credit. On the other hand, he took it a step further than I did. He actually gets rid of all his AHL scouts, so he has more people to scout the big regions. I kind of like realism. I kind of like having the AHL scouts there because you would have them in real life. So, I mean, it's a little harder to get everything done with less amateur scouts, but whatever. I mean, it's still, as I was doing this, the gist of it is I got pretty reasonable coverage of everything. So, alright, so our scouts are properly set, so let's go start through training camp and our preseason games and see how things go. Ooh, 0-3 start. That's not good. The one thing I might want to look at is I accidentally Stasny in a 5 for 2/3. I mean, I'm not ready to trade him yet, but that, for a guy just brought in just for depth, that actually might end up being a pretty good way to recoup picks later if I fall out of contention. People want Zucker, apparently. What I was going to say is, I mean, I accidentally got too many goalies, at least at the minor league level. Oh, okay, we rebounded to a 4-3 preseason after a kind of slow start, so we lost to the Caps, Rangers, and Carolina, but then we swept the rest of the way. So, okay, on the whole. The one thing I've been considering, and it's a little bit dangerous, but it might be interesting to pursue, is let me show you the situation first in terms of the contracts. Because the goalie situation, I accidentally got too many veteran goalies. So I got DeSmith and Jari at the major league level, but in the system, I now have Nedeljkovic, Gustafsson, Lagasse, D'Orio, Blomqvist, and Klang. And granted, Blomqvist and Klang aren't even signed to their ELCs yet, so they're not a problem. But I mean, I've got 5 goalies in the minors, and Gauthier is actually also not signed to an ELC. So I got 4 goalies in the minors, and I was sort of thinking I might want to trade DeSmith and move one of these guys up to the backup position, just to kind of force Tristan Jarry to claim the job or not claim the job. That's kind of what I was thinking. And actually, I was thinking if I moved Nedeljkovic up to be the backup, then that lets Gustafsson play kind of be the everyday starter and get minutes in the minors and see if he can turn into something. So I think I'm going to look at trading Casey DeSmith and see what somebody would give me for Casey DeSmith. So that's the thinking, is trade my backup goalie to anyone who might be interested and move up Nedeljkovic. So let's grab DeSmith. I mean, if our season is made or broken based on who our backup goalie is, lots of things will have gone wrong. So, let's just do open block and see who people... Alright, so a 3 and a 4, but not until next year. Koivu at a 6. San Jose is willing to offer 3s this year and next year. Antoni Honka and a 4th. C. Shalin and a 4th. I mean, the best offer is probably the picks. And I kind of vaguely... I know Honka, when he first came up, had some prospect, but I mean, like when he was first coming up through the European leagues, there was some excitement about him, about how he might be a first rounder, and then it as kind of an offensive defenseman type guy. But he's also kind of small, and that hype kind of disappeared, and I think he was like a 4th round pick or something, so I don't think he's like the prospect he originally was. And besides, I just like making picks. So I think I'm going to take San Jose's package. I think I'm going to take a pair of 3s for DeSmith. And okay, it's going to call up Nedeljkovic for me. Under pro roster. I don't even know what that means. What have I done? Did it not call up Nedeljkovic? Okay, for whatever reason it said it was calling up Nedeljkovic, but it didn't do it. Okay, that was weird. Alright, so... Also, I think this is kind of like the big... This is your chance for Jarry. If he doesn't put it together this year, that kind of makes the case that maybe I need to upgrade goalie next year. So... It's the Was that Hunt for Red October when Cortez reached the New World? He burned his ships. Well, in this case, I'm burning my backup goalie. So now for this one, I will do. Oh, for minor leagues, I will do best lines. And actually, while I'm here, let's just see what the minor leagues are looking like. See what I don't have a lot of prospects, but who's playing with who. Okay, see, I should probably call Tanev back up. He's a good depth forward. Doesn't really make sense that a guy with $3.5 million contract sitting in the minors, frankly. But POJ and Bowie are on the #1 pair. Here, let me check my roster composition first. Because I like having 2 depth forwards and 1 depth defenseman. So who are my scratches right now? Perlini and Jankowski are my scratches. So, do I send Mangiapane or Dubé down, maybe? I mean, Dubé's 23. I mean, Mangiapane is still 79 overall. I mean, I'm thinking maybe I send down Mangiapane and bring up Tanev. I think that's the plan. Okay, so that makes our 4th line Tanev, Stasny, and Dubé. I'm just going to check Jankowski for chemistry purposes, but it doesn't make a difference, so I think I'll go with Stasny, because he's got the veteran experience or whatever. Defense pair... we need a guy for 3-on-3. Okay, so the defense pairs Dumoulin and Anderson, Pedersen and Montour, Ricola and Marino. Now, we do not have a 7th defenseman, so we'll need to bring someone up for 7th defenseman. In the system... And that's probably going to be Ruedel. He's kind of the guy that's just kind of literally there for depth, so... Alright, Ruedel comes up. And we will now just... This will do best line. Okay. Joseph, who's going to start in net? That's the only other thing I wanted to check for them. Okay, Gustafson is the starter. Okay, cool. All right, that is basically the way I wanted to set things up. So I think we are ready to start the first month of the season. At least we're going into the season hot. That's a good sign, and we're mostly healthy. I mean, Dubé had a scratch, but he was playable. So let's go. October or bust. So set us up for November 1st. I already did my scout assignments, so I'm fine there. Now, okay, the minor leagues, I'll let the head coach do the replacements. And if the Pens lose a guy, I'll just do it by hand. Okay, so Marino's down for a little bit. Zucker for a 2 and a 3. Certainly, I'm not giving up in the first week of the season, but that might be something I consider down the road. Though, I mean, the interesting thing is, I looked at Zucker, and he's the one guy on my entire roster that all of the coach tendencies match. So Zucker on the third line is a perfect fit in terms of scheme. So, okay. So, Ruedel back to the bench. Marino back to the lineup. Okay, Tanov has got an injured foot. And okay, he only misses a week. Oh, Jack Johnson, Sid's golfing buddy slash Rutherford favorite. Jeez. Just for humor. Oh, 76 overall and 34 years old. I'm going to go ahead and decline Jack Johnson. No, you cannot have Stasny. Mangiapane injured. Head coach can replace him. Anthony Bettetto. He's 31. He's not a prospect. He's 72 overall, so he doesn't particularly add anything to even to our minor league roster. So no thanks on Bettetto. And we arrive at the 1st of November, 8-4-1. Nice. That's a pretty good record. And in fact, we're at the top of the division. I kind of glanced at that as we were clicking. I mean, obviously it's still close, but 1 point above Philly, 3 above the Rangers, and then it drops off a little to Carolina, New York, Islanders, Columbus, Capitals, the Devils falling way behind early. Obviously, small sample size stuff, but third in the league in scoring, so definitely a reverse of last year. On the other hand, we're giving up a lot more goals too, so we have the opposite problem of last year. Last year we had really good defense, but we couldn't put the puck in the net. 41% on the power play, that's not going to hold up. And 78% penalty kill. Well then, that's definitely some interesting stats earlier. Sidney Crosby, 19 points in 13 games. Nice. 8 goals, 11 assists. Taylor Hall off to a hot start. 7 goals, 7 assists in the first month. Sweet. Zucker doing all right with 12 points. Ho-Sang, 6 and 5 on that second line. That's actually looking like a good move so far. Tuck, on the other hand, 3 goals, 8 assists. I mean, it's not bad. It's even on the pace for like a 15 or 20 goal season. And when your 2 line mates are 2 best players in the game, maybe you're not going to be scoring 40 points or 40 goals. Dubois, okay. I think he was a little bit better last year, but McCann, the third line. Oh, Gensel's the one he's frozen out. He's got no goals and 8 assists so far. Yeah, third line is looking a little shakier than last year. I think they were off to a little bit hotter start, but the top 6, other than Gensel, are doing a pretty good job. So, I all in all, it's not. Well, let's take a look at goaltending. That's the one thing I'm a little bit. Ooh, 342 for Jari. That's actually kind of crappy. Nedeljkovic, on the other hand, in 2 games as the backup, has done pretty fantastic work. So just file that away in your brain. I kind of want to look at the minor league. Actually, I'm going to go back in there for a second. I kind of want to look at my minor league stats and see if anyone is really lighting it up down in the minors. Lafferty, 11 points. Not really. It's all single digits. Any of the goaltenders standing out? It looks like about an even split between Gustafson and Lagasse, and actually Lagasse is playing a lot better than Gustafson so far. Okay, well, I mean, nothing there to push the panic button over. I mean, the record's good. There's a little bit of underlying, boy, I wish our defense could be better, and maybe I look at picking up a defenseman to try to tweak things a little bit. But for now, you know, whatever. We'll win some 5-4 games instead of losing 2-1 games. So, charge into the breach. Welcome to December. Okay, the draft class is going to be a little bit weaker. I think my first scouts start coming off assignment in December. So for the moment, I'm not going to worry about that. Oof, we've actually fallen back to 500, it looks like. That's not good. Uh-oh, P.L. Dubois, you're sorry for how you're playing out there. You know what? I'm going to agree and attempt to solve his concern. He's already the number 2. I don't know how I'm going to get better chemistry than a +1, so I don't... You know what? Heck with you. Deal with it. We put you on a pretty good line. Oh, stop whining. Okay. Well, that was not the December we wanted to have. We kind of dropped back to 500, and while I didn't catch the exact standing place, we ended up somewhere in the 5-6 range. Oh, 5th. Okay, there it is. So in December, we are looking at New York Islanders now on top. I mean, once again, now we're back to last year's problem where the division is insanely close, and 1st and 6th are 4 points apart. So, I mean, in that sense, things aren't terrible. We're still right in it. On the other hand, it's concerning that the underlying cause for concern is this 3.44 goals against. I mean, we're some combination of Jari, and the defense is just not getting it done out there the way we would like. I mean, and it looked like Sid's line was doing fine, but it looks like the second line was kind of struggling a little bit. I wonder if maybe bumping Taylor Hall to the second line just might tweak things a little bit and put Gensel back with Crosby. That might be worth looking at. I mean, we're still top 10 in scoring, but again, our goals against is like now fifth worst in the league. Power play down to 26, a more normal 26.8%. I mean, that's still probably decent. I mean, yeah, it's actually one of the top power plays in the league. And our penalty kill is toward the bottom. Same basic story. Okay, Crosby's still doing fine in the scoring race. Taylor Hall still looking great. Tuck actually, 515 at the not quite, a little bit past the quarter mark of the season. That's a 60, 70 point season for him. I mean, and like a 20 goal season. So that line is doing okay. Gensel, 1 goal, 17 assists. That's the thing I think we got to try to fix. I think maybe we flip Hall and Gensel for a little bit and see how that changes things. The third line, McCann not doing that great. Zucker's doing all right, and then the third line right wing was Kapanen, who's basically kind of invisible, isn't he? All right, well, I mean, it is what it is. And then the kind of sad saga of our goaltending. Geez, now Nedeljkovic's actually kind of come back to earth too, so both of our goaltenders are kind of sucking. We'll do a quick glance at the trading block, see if anyone's got a defenseman who would be an improvement. And actually, I just remembered I probably need to move my Europe scout. Oh wait, I'm off by a month. It's actually just now starting December, not November. Sanheim. That might be worth at least seeing what Flyers are asking for him. Of course, I always kind of leery to trade within the division, though. But there's no other, like, good, solid, shutdown defenseman out there. On the block, at least. I mean, I could still... He's a left defenseman. Let's see what they'd want for him. That doesn't help. I'd have to give up a defenseman to get a defenseman. Oh, you idiots, you're not listening to me. Yeah, okay, then that's not really going to work for now. Alright, I'll tell you what. We are going to do the Hall for Gensel switch to see if we can get that second line. Get Gensel and that second line moving a little bit. There we go. Alright, now into December. And away we go. Oh, Hjalmarsson. I mean, that would actually be a good fix for the defense. But I don't know that I want to do it for Zucker. They want picks, maybe. Hjalmarsson's a lefty? POJ is the closest thing I've got to a prospect right now. Yeah. For the moment, I don't think I could even put together a deal that would get that done. So, alright, how's the draft class looking? A lot of unknowns there. I wonder what's going on with my scouts that they haven't gotten there yet. Sorry, if someone offers me a defense at this point, if someone's offering a defenseman, okay, I don't think Stone helps me. Okay. Dubois is out, so in the short term, just throw Jankowski in there. Three for Merzlikins and a 7. Do we really believe Merzlikins is an elite? And is... I'll tell you what, let's scout him real quick. Or maybe we'll look at something like that. Okay, Montour's down for a couple games. I don't think Goligoski's the guy either, but let's see what they're... He's an offensive defenseman, which doesn't help our defense problem. So I think no on Goligoski. Alright, we finished the first half-ish at 26-3. We're back up to 3rd in the division. So, we've got 43 points in 39 games. Looking at 3.36 goals scored, or actually, yeah, 3.36 scores scored. We've got the goals against down to 305. So actually, we're starting to play some defense, I guess. That's a promising sign. Power play 25%. Penalty kill up to 84.2%. So some possible sign of improvement on defense is a little bit hopeful. While we're here, my minor league team is actually now 1st in its division. I don't care a lot, but that's kind of interesting, I guess. Okay, Crosby's still doing great. 50 points in 39 games. He's on pace for a 50-goal season and a 100-point season. Hall also really doing pretty well. He's on pace for probably close to a 30-goal season. It's going to be close. Gensel, okay, I don't know if 2 more goals counts as getting started, but it's something. I mean, at this point, we'll take it. Zucker's doing pretty good. Dubois hanging in there. I mean, still, I would like to see more than a 50-point season out of a guy who's supposedly a 90 overall. Hosang had that hot start, but hasn't been doing a lot since then. McCann maybe heating up a little bit, I guess. I mean, I like the diversity of the scoring. I mean, we got guys putting the puck in the net up and down the roster. I mean, if you kind of, roughly double all these numbers, the guys who are in contention to be close to a 15, 20 goal season, we got a lot of guys doing that. And other than, Dumoulin is the only regular without a goal right now. So, I mean, in that sense, I like the diversity of who's getting goals. But, again, we don't seem to have other than Crosby and maybe Hall, we don't have a single star doing it. Goalie, Jari is starting to come toward respectability. Nedeljkovic also kind of righted his ship, and he's back down under 3 on the goals against and above 900 on the save percentage. So, I don't know if it's goaltending or defense, but the defense is starting to rebound a little bit. While we're here, we'll take a quick look at the minor leagues. Gustafsson now looking pretty sharp in net. Lagasse even better as a backup, but that's fine. I don't mind if my backup does well. I don't think he's got much of a future or anything, but Gaudreau, Lafferty, Mangiapane, Poulin, Joseph. Joseph's looking to maybe he might be looking to push the big club next year. I mean, 9-15, 24, and I could easily see him. He's left defense, so I could easily see him taking Ricola's job next year. Goal scorers, it's Gaudreau, Poulin, and then a bunch of guys at 9 or 8. Okay, let's go back to the NHL and see. We haven't really looked at the players league-wide. And then we'll also go back and look at the standings in the other divisions because we didn't really do that yet either. So, sorry. Up to all of hockey. And our points leader at this point is Austin Matthews and his beautiful mustache at 57. Landeskog at 55. Marner 54. Seguin 51. Crosby, Rantanen at 50. McKinnon, Pastrnak, Bergeron, Nylander, Marchand. Lots of good names. Lots of your usual names. No big surprise guys up there. Ovechkin, number 2 in goals, even now. Matthews leading in goals at 31. Crosby having one of his better seasons in recent memory. McDavid, Giroux, Seguin, Tavares, McKinnon, Hurdle. Okay, that's one of those ones maybe you don't see too often on the leaderboard. Doughty, first representation by a defenseman in the assists column. Marner, Nylander, Point, Bergeron, Carlson, Backstrom. Plus minus, if one cares about such things, Tim Liljegren, number 1. Rantanen, Matthews, Pietrangelo, Nylander, Marchand. And let's check goalies. Rittich is your wins leader for the Minnesota Wild. Sorry, at first brief glance, he looked like Zach Braff. It confused me. Tuukka Rask, Lundqvist for the Sharks. Okay, there's some. Vasilevsky, 19 wins. Hellebuck, Shesterkin, 18. Carter Hart, 17. Shutouts. Rittich with 5. Well, it was a 3-way tie with Hart and Binnington for 5 shutouts each. Jari's... That's the weird thing. Jari has 4 shutouts. So, glass half full, he's second in the league in shutouts. Glass half empty, think how bad his stats would be if he didn't have 4 shutouts. Save percentage. Your first quote-unquote real goaltender. I mean, these guys are like, 50-50 goalies. Our first real one is Hellebuck at 919 and Price at 918. Actually, Price isn't really... Well, he's close. It's 27 goal games. Is close to being the definite starter. And Rittich at 917. Goals against, again, you skim past the part-timers. And you get to Hellebuck at 248, Rask 248. Hey, Casey DeSmith at 249. Rittich 252. Oh, I want to check to see how the rookie race is shaping up. Ronald Jenkins for the Canadians. 14 goals, 10 assists. I mean, he was the second round pick in 2021, or the second overall pick in 2021. Oliver Wahlstrom for the Isles, 11-11-22. Janne Kukkonen. Devils, even though the Devils as a team are having a bad year, he's having a good year as rookie. Charlie Crowder. Islanders have a second guy up there. Henry Ramirez. Trent Frederick. Martin Kaut. Tim Liljegren. Josh Norris. Joe Veleno. Liam Foudy. Okay, Coland. Okay, starting to get some of the more familiar names down in the lower end of the top 10. Liljegren's your plus-minus leader. Are there any rookie goalies making an impact? Okay, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. Say that 10 times fast. 30 games, and he's got numbers actually similar to Jari. 312 goals against, 899 save percentage, a little bit above 500. And then Nedeljkovic as the backup for us is the number 2 in terms of games played. And then nobody else has a significant contribution. So, okay, let's go back. Since we're kind of at that semi-halfway point of the season, let's look at the other divisions in the overall race. Okay, so back in the Metro again, Rangers are on top at 49 points. Caps 47, Pens 43, Islanders 42. Atlantic is Toronto, Boston, and Tampa. And in fact, Toronto and Boston in particular, or Toronto is getting out to a pretty wide lead over the rest of the division. Okay. Pretty tight top 3 of St. Louis, Minnesota, and Colorado in the Central. Winnipeg kind of pushing into the top 4, and then there's a bit of a drop-off. Dallas, then Nashville, and Chicago at the bottom. Pacific, San Jose at the top at 56, Vegas 50, and then an 8-point drop to Edmonton in 3rd. And it's kind of like just 2 to 3 point staggers the rest of the way down the standings in there. So Western Conference, that's looking like the spread is from 56 to 42. 42 is where the playoffs start, and 56 is the top of the West, and you got 3 teams down the low 30s. Eastern Conference, Toronto's kind of in a class by themselves. Boston, in fact, the East in general, you got their top 3 are above anybody in the Metro. And the Metro's still pretty tight most of the way down. And the floor is currently 43 points. At the bottom, New Jersey and Columbus are both starting to fall out of contention for anything interesting. So, and of course, Toronto would be your current favorites for the Presidents. New Jersey, your current favorite for the number 1 pick. Goals for Devils, scoring less than 2 goals a game. Ouch. And Toronto scoring 4.15 goals per game. Man. And Pittsburgh's like low top 10 and like what, that 8 or 9? I think the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on that screen. So we were number 8 in goals for. Goals against. Chicago is the worst in the league at 405. Pittsburgh is, we're middle of the pack. We're down to 305 now, puts us middle of the pack. Best goals against St. Louis, Winnipeg, Minnesota, all teams in the West, and then Toronto at 265. So, all right. So that is basically the halfway point of the season. You know, the good side is our defense started to come around toward the end of the toward the end of December. So maybe we can let it ride with what we've got a little bit longer. The bad side is it's still really close, and I still don't feel like this team's like a mortal lock to make the playoffs. So we may need to be buyers as the trade deadline approaches. But we'll have to address that next time. So we'll see you next time in January of 2022, and thanks for watching. Bye.